Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. I'm excited tonight, 45, 55, 65, and 75 years old. Let me tell you something. I'll be 83 in a couple weeks. And I want you to know that you too can have two books on Amazon. I told you I think I said I was going to have some books up this summer. And so they both are available. Yay! Of course, you know about this one, Guide to the Second Time Bride. Yes, if you're getting married a second time, baby, you need to read this one. You know, if you need some prayer, bam. You know my daughter, Evelyn's book. This right here is nothing like these prayers. 5 prayers. When you know what to pray, get this girl's book. Evelyn Sanders' book. All right, that's one book. That's my guidebook. Put it over here. And then these two are on Who Lived Here, Where Did They Go? If you go to www.wholivedherewheredoyou you will find out more about the displacement and the trauma associated with many of our black neighborhoods that have been transformed either through gentrification and through this is not right. Through gentrification, which is happening every day all across America, or through another having people lose their homes for various reasons that you know that in a system reason why they take the homes from them, and or they do some kind of zoning, and make sure that the zoning doesn't comply with in the neighborhood. All of a sudden they will come in and do eminent domain and just I don't know what happens. Just people don't want to see us have our neighborhoods, or our neighborhoods don't look like they don't have the crisp look. They don't have the kind of shanty townish, and you need to just look at all the reasons. There are reasons for a lot of it that has everything to do with racism, has nothing to do with the people who call it community, who call it home. And when you remove people from the neighborhoods, take it from them, snatch them from under this, believe it or not, there's trauma associated with that. There's a feeling of what happened to the lady that used to live on that house in her porch. That's where we used to go at Christmas time, and she would always have some candy out. I mean, there's so much joy, a lot of joy. That, of course, we've had some things in the neighborhood that may not make you feel the best, but most of the time in your community, there's something good about everybody on the street. You know them, and they wave at people. It's familiarity. You know about how far to walk to get something, where not to go, what neighbors are the best ones. You hear your parents talk about you, or your somebody talk about, well, don't go over there with those people because that's what they do over there. But your community, you're outside playing and people pass by and say, oh, look at them out there playing. They don't have any green grass. Well, you didn't make a way for them to have green grass. So you get mad because they know how to take a little patch of dirt, have fun with it, play stick ball. Stick the stick ball in the streets and laughing. And look at them out there laughing. Poor babies. And if they're not poor babies, they're having fun. You see, it's just so much associated with displaced neighborhoods and how they have taken erasure. It's all about erasure. And so I don't know. You look at my site, Who Lived Here, Where Did They Go? I did this monograph through the Absalom Jones Center for Racial Healing two or 3 years ago. And I think you heard me talk about how those steps on Northside Drive just bothered me, that there used to be houses there. I mean, I've been here since 1960 in Atlanta, since 1960. And so I know what Atlanta used to look like, and I know a lot of streets and back ways that I don't see anymore. And I don't have anything against progress. I mean, progress is important, and we need to be shiny and glitzy and clean up and look great. But we want that can happen, but let it happen because everybody has access to the same funding and the same materials and the same whatever it is to make the neighborhood different and upgrade the neighborhood. But just don't do it for this neighborhood and then look over here at our neighborhood when redlining takes place, where there's no mortgages, you can't get what you're supposed to get, you live in the wrong zip code. I mean, I didn't think anything about zip codes until all of a sudden, everywhere you went, they asked for your zip code. And then when I was running for city council, I saw a 303, my zip code. I supposedly didn't have a whole lot of money. And I was thinking about, do you know who the people on my street, but some kind of way my zip code and the other zip codes associated with my neighborhood, we had some kind of other color. We had another color behind our when they did the map. The coloration of the people who well off was one color, and the people who were average was another color. And then when it got down to my zip code and those associated right around my zip code, we were in another color. And I looked up that color and it said, medium income was this, and there was a lack here. And it's just amazing how numbers are used against us as a people, as a black people. I'm gonna talk about myself. I'm just talking about being black in America. So you gotta. There's something to memory. I mean, I remember as a kid, growing up in 1900 Delaware, in Gary, Indiana first, before my parents purchased a house that they had built. But I remember running up and down the stairs and having fun on the stairs, and kids sitting on the stairs and in the apartment building, and of course somebody else would be driving by. Maybe it would say, "Oh, the poor little black kids sitting on the steps." I don't remember being unhappy on my little stairs and taking my bike down 3 flights of stairs and riding around, then bringing my bike up 3 flights of stairs. I mean, to somebody else that might have been trauma, but for me, I still had a bike. The fact that I had a bicycle meant a lot. You see, so it's cultural. It's a whole cultural thing there. And so I just wanted to share with you. I don't know which one I wanted to. I had something I wanted to read, but I lost which one I wanted to do. But I just wanted to. This one is called The Language of Erasure. Displacement doesn't just happen through bulldozers and zoning laws. It also happens through language. The terminology used to describe black neighborhoods in public policy, real estate documents, and newspapers has long shaped the narrative of who belongs and who doesn't. And I think it's important. I'm reading from this one. It's on Amazon.com, $11. It's not a whole lot of money. I didn't price it at a lot of money. I think I get $2 per book. I really want the information out here for you, and I really want. I think it was Dr. Monique Earl Lewis. We were talking about just sharing whatever we find that we want to share free. I would give it away free, but I got to get it out here, so I did it this way. So $11, and I'll get $2. All right, it's still okay. So, but I want you to see the language of erasure. They take these things, they call them slum and blighted and obsolete. When you start putting those terminologies on neighborhoods, and then it just does something to the people in the neighborhood when they hear they live in a slum, when they hear they live in a ghetto, or you say your address and somebody say, "Oh," and their expression towards you change, and everything about what they thought about you changes because of that address. They remember it being a urban hazard or whatever the assigned vocabulary. You have to be careful what you say, and even to even now, you have to be careful how you say and what you say, because children pick up on and find and they hear themselves. They say, "Oh, I live. That's where I live." They might be playing in the alley, and somebody, "Oh, poor little alley kids." They didn't know they were alley kids. They were just playing in the alley. I mean, anybody out there has lived places that you thought was just great, and you find out later that you didn't live anywhere that was anything. The building on the corner of 1900 Delaware Street, or 19th and Delaware Street, I didn't. Somebody can say now, well, that wasn't a fine place to live, but it was fine for me because maybe that's what I knew. I was happy there. I was happy as a kid. And then I knew better when we moved. My mother bought a home, or had a home built out in Tolliston. And, that was a whole different thing. But I'm just saying, when you use the language of erasure in these neighborhoods, it doesn't work. It reminds us that definitions belong to the definers. That's what Toni Morrison said. Definition belongs to the definers. It's just like my my teacher Howard Zinn at Spelman. That was my professor, Dr. Howard Zinn. And Dr. Howard Zinn, you have to look at when you look at the history, you have two views: the conquerors and the victims. We never get the victim's point of view. We get the conqueror's point of view, which is altogether. If you look at the victim will have to tell you a different story altogether. None of that happened, or it didn't happen the way you said it happened. But that's the victors. And so the same thing with when Toni Morrison says that definitions belong to the definers. So somebody defined a neighborhood as being a ghetto. When city planners label a neighborhood as blighted, they're making a moral judgment, not just an observation. So it's been blighted. So blighted to whom? Blighted what? Blighted compared to what? Because you redlined and there was no opportunity for money to be flowing to the neighborhood, because when the bank already knew that you lived in a red line neighborhood and knew by your zip code. I mean, when we start talking about all these different neighborhoods and things, we have to look past what appears to be the truth. There's something you have to go past there. You have to look past. You have to look at the language. What's the language really says? I'm saying here the language erases as powerful as policy. Come on now. Language erases as powerful as policy. We got policymakers. I like Dr. Celeste White and her husband, Dr. Gary White. I think they teach policy making, or they know, they have enough knowledge to be able to prepare students who are in school at Clark Atlanta University, who would get the information they need to develop and make policy. And I think Dr. Celeste White may be over our policy center at Clark Atlanta University, but we know that language erases as powerfully as policy. In language, neighborhoods like Beaver Slide and Lightning and Jenningstown were reduced to footnote by the language used to describe them. I mean, Beaver Slide where's the Beaver Slide now? So Beaver Slide was behind Spelman, Clark College at the time, Clark Atlanta now, but that street behind is that Lachey? Anyway, that was Beaver Slide, and then it turned into University Homes Project, and then now it's developed for student housing. It doesn't have a particular name. I guess it belongs to Clark Atlanta University Student Housing. They did leave one of the buildings there called the Roosevelt Building. I was glad that they decided to leave a reminder, because that's one of the things I talk about in our neighborhoods. There's nobody, nothing, no symbol, no plaque, nothing to remind anybody that neighborhood even existed. So the Roosevelt Building is still there. And my understanding that they have invited people who used to live in university homes, wherever you may be, to come back and move into the neighborhood. And that speaks volumes to me for the healing, because a lot of healing has not taken place. There's something called linguistic violence. When it's linguistic violence, it's like displacement. Displacing people, moving them out and push them out, and that's one balance. And then linguistically, there's another balance when you assign names to them. So all that is in here. Who lived here? Where'd he go? What other kind of goodies do I have in here? I give a little bit of vocabulary. Let me see. Of the mental health costs, the cost of invisibility. Mental health responses to displacement include anxiety, depression, isolation, and identity fragmentation. These effects are often exacerbated by the invisibility of the trauma. So there's a woman named Minnie Fullerlove. Minnie has a book called Root Shock. And I like that, a root shock, ROOT, shock. When you snatch up a plant, snatching it by its roots. Is the roots are in shock, and that happens when we are snatched out of our homes and snatched out of our neighborhoods, and some of what I have here could be. I was thinking about it. Some of this could be used for the people who lost their homes to fire and to natural disasters. I think there's a lot to be said about what happens with just being replaced and displaced. But in this case, I'm talking about displaced Black communities specifically. And so, and the last impact, a root shock. And so if you get a chance to get this one, and then this one is I'm learning something new. I haven't gone to class today. I told you I flunked my exam. Okay, well, I didn't go to class today. I just couldn't take it. But anyway, this is the other book. So this is Who Lived Here, Where to Go GIS mapping workbook. So I love maps. I do. And those of you who love maps will love using mapping technology to revisit neighborhoods. You see, I got this huge map behind me. I just love any kind of map. It's just fascinating to me. And so what you want to do, there are tools to help you with the mapping of neighborhoods. And so I have a list of tools here and how to use them, the names for them, the sites that you can go to, and examples, and I give a little quiz or two. But what you want to do is when you're data gathering, there's a way to gather your data and input it in such a way that you can take a map. So you take an old map and put it over, and take the map now of the, let's go up to Howell Mill Road. You don't even know, man, I don't even know anything on Howell Mill Road anymore. I'm just outdone up there. But you could take the old map and put it on top of the new map, a new map on top of the old map, and you could see what structures used to be there and what structures are there now. And you could look at the tax base, and there's so many things you can look at when you look at a map. So, and it's all technology. It's just a number analysis. Those of you who are interested in that kind of GIS mapping, then you will like this book, because I like anything with geography. So this is Geographic Information Systems Workbook. And so this is $11 also. I was going to make it $7, but I thought I'd go ahead and make them both $11. So when you go on Amazon.com and look up these books, I want you to use them to help. And when it's time to talk about when we're talking about who lived here, where do we go? We want to look at wellness-based mapping activities. We want to look at emotional zones associated with people leaving this neighborhood and going to another neighborhood. It's just not changing addresses. It's that first address. How did you leave that address as opposed to the new address? If it's amicable, that's one thing. But if it's your family didn't, somebody else is gonna move into that house for good reasons, because your family got your husband or you yourself got a job somewhere else. That's a different kind of thing. But to know you were forced out of the neighborhood, the whole community. We're talking about entire communities are being displaced, what happened with the Fulton County Stadium, and what happened with the I-20 going through Auburn Avenue and destroying the whole business district. I mean, just all kind. And that was a plan. That was planned. That was absolutely planned. And not only through Atlanta and through Auburn Avenue, there are many instances where this went on all over the country. See, this is just not about Atlanta. Although I can talk about it from Atlanta, but it's my understanding that people are talking about this across the country. So I hope that you will go to Amazon.com. This is my show tonight. It's a shameless plug, but I want you to many of you who are map enthusiasts, you want to learn these mapping tools, this is a book for you. And those of you who are in social workers, or you're in government entities, you might want to get this book, or you might want to get them together. You're a community leader, you're an MPU chairperson or something, you're a civic leader, or you're a historian, or a preservationist, like David. I need to get David this. Or you're a faith-based civic or civic-minded person. You just want to know more about what happened to. I have the doors on there that represent the 20-something neighborhoods that I studied in the first study, which was the monograph done at the Absalon Center. Well, these are upgrades from the monograph. And right now they have not for sale going across the front, because these are my author's copies, but they are for sale, and I hope that you will enjoy and get them. And so, it's the same shameless plug tonight, but I want to share what I've been doing, and hopefully you can use the information. I don't want to do anything or find anything or do any kind of research that's not useful for you, for the classroom, for the neighborhood, because we're here to create, and we're here to work with one another, collaborate, and just do God's will. And that's what I'm all about. And so I thank you for tonight. You're 45, 55, 65, and 75. I'm going to be 83. And so these two books went up this week, and I have another one that's up now. I'll talk about it later. The Guide to the Second Time Bride, I did that in 1976, but I redid it this summer. So I gave myself first quarter and second quarter. I talked to you about that. First quarter and second quarter, lay the foundation, work hard, do the research, get everything done. So third quarter and fourth quarter is all about implementing and selling and moving, because Christmas is here. You see, and so I need people. These are not books anybody's gonna buy anybody for Christmas. Although they may, it may be somebody who really enjoyed this kind of work, they might buy them. I don't know. But my point is, it's time now to take your product that you have created, and that you had 2 quarters, and then, but don't worry about it. Start your quarter now. Start your quarter now, because we have to create and develop and research now. While that's going on somewhere else, you see what's going on in the world. You cannot sit back and thumb and do, what is it? People do this. You can't do that, not right now. It's action time. It's action time. It's some smart people on the other side of this screen here, and you're sitting on information. And my 75-year-olds that are retired, and my 65-year-olds that are retired, I need to get this cranking right here and get some books out. Get some books out. Get some work out that other people can have. Because I'm gonna tell you something. There's gonna be a time when they want a time where there's no such thing as a black person. We haven't done anything, haven't been anywhere, haven't seen anything, and that's not gonna happen. That's not happen. So the most I can get you all to do right now is, I always say, don't do as Georgianne does, because I don't do everything right, but do as I say do. And I'm saying to you, develop, create. That's what Myron Golden tells us every day. And get out and do something for us and our people. I'm just gonna make it plain, just like that. And what else I'm gonna make plain? That I love you. Yes, I do. And there's nothing you can do about it.